This segment brought to you by Kansas Farm Bureau, the voice of agriculture. To join today or more information, go to kfb.org or find us on Facebook and Twitter.
Welcome to Farm Factor. Up first today, Duane Toews and Tom Feild talk about the rate of change within the agriculture industry.
Duane Toews joining you once again here on Ag AM in Kansas, and a chance to catch up with Tom Feild from UNL. And Tom, you had an opportunity to talk to producers about change and addressing those issues, preparing for them potentially as well. We've always said and heard, a number of folks have said that the only constant is change, but we're really at kind of a dynamic time right now here in agriculture.
There's no question the speed of change is really what's the new game in town, as things happen so quickly and there's so much volatility in the markets and volatility in technology and changes that we really haven't necessarily been prepared for, the access to talent, finding the right partners in supply chains, a lot of issues around producer-owned data. I think it's really, really important that producers or producer groups own their own data, because that's where there's real value and real money. And then, of course, market access is such a big deal, whether it's domestic or international. That's so critical to all of agriculture today.
We think about some of the things that come along in terms of technology changes. Adopting them is great, but technology and information, you referenced, the knowledge really comes from that information. Applying it, though, and utilizing it in operation is a different cat, so to speak.
Absolutely. I think it's really important to know which ball it is that we're chasing from the very beginning, so that when we go after a solution, we're actually going after a solution that answers the real question that we're trying to deal with. So, for example, in the cattle business, lots of our indicators are lagging data. They're data we collect long after we can do anything about it. Weaning rate's great, but I don't measure it until I'm done, and so I can't go back. So if I can figure out a way to collect data that helps me improve that in real time, that can be a pretty powerful asset. Individual animal health monitoring is a great example of that. Our ability to find a problem before it actually manifests itself symptomatically. It reduces the animal's likelihood of becoming mortality. It reduces our input in terms of drugs and product, and it improves the overall performance and ultimately the value of the product that animal produces for society.
We're dealing with a different generation of producers coming on. You've referenced some numbers about how much land is going to change hands in the next 20 years. We hear that reference about how we're going to feed that 9 billion people. It's going to be a whole new crop of people that are doing it.
When you really look at the whole ecosystem of agriculture, one of the big challenges, I think, is we have this huge demand coming at us. Global growth, population-wise, potentially a very large growth in the middle class, especially in Asia, which means a huge demand for protein. Then at the same time, we've got this big generation swap coming in terms of ownerships of farms and ranches. Estimates are that 60% of America's farms and ranches are going to change hands by in the next 20 years, and that of the existing farms and ranches today, 20% of them do not have a known successor. And so that's a big challenge. And then our access to talent, just labor alone, is such a challenge. Are there going to be enough truck drivers in the future? Are there going to be enough folks who want to work in a feed yard, in a dairy, on a farm? And so we have some real challenges coming at us, and part of that will be solved with technology, and part of it's going to be solved with really becoming a lot better at telling our story as an industry.
Our thanks to Tom Feild joining us here on Ag AM in Kansas. Jamie, we'll send it back to you.
Thanks, Duane. Folks, come back after these messages for this week's Kansas Soybean Update.
Watch Ag AM in Kansas online at agaminkansas.com.